Does anybody else feel weird when you're doing the greeting at the beginning of a video? Hi, I'm Amanda, so welcome to my channel. Not so welcome, what? Hello. That's so weird. Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda, and I'm glad that you're here. Today, I'm kicking off a reading vlog. I am leaving on Thursday, so I have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I have 3 days to get as many books done as I can before I go on a road trip. I'm really just going up to Arkansas to get my children who have been visiting grandparents and visiting a college and bringing them home. And I'll check in with where I am right now. First of all, if you have seen my Instagram, but maybe you haven't seen any videos, I created this Kanban board, like a physical Kanban board. And so the only thing I have left is The Shining, and that's a completely separate thing because I'm reading Stephen King books one after the other. So when I finish it, then I will get The Shining. So it doesn't matter if I finish these other books because The Shining doesn't come down until it goes away. Sorry, I can't do this backwards thing. Anyway, when it goes away, then The Shining will come down. So for the other books, I am going to be finishing Sojourn in this vlog. And I am currently reading, let me get the new Kanban board over here, See How Small. This was one of my NPR books, and I'm reading this as an ebook through my Libby app, I think, through my library app. And so this one I'm currently reading, as well as Sojourn, and then I'm reading It by Stephen King. So those are my 3 current reads right now. I am hoping to finish all of them by Wednesday night. This one might be the hardest because I don't have a lot of sit-down reading time this week. Monday, my husband is off work, and so we're going to go explore some of downtown San Antonio while he's off. And so I'll have Tuesday, and then Wednesday I'm going to be packing. So we'll see how much of this I can get done. Sojourn should not be a problem. It's not a very long audiobook, and I like reading it because it's the 3rd book in the Dresden series. Well, I don't know what this one's called. The Dark Elf trilogy. It's the 3rd in the 1st trilogy about his life before the Icewind Dale trilogies. Anyway, that was a lot of stuff to say that I'm excited about reading this book, so it won't be hard to make myself sit down and read it. And once I finish Sojourn, I'm not sure which of these is next, but I think it might be Full Moon. It's the book 2 in the Dresden File series. And so I think that one is next on my list. I'm not sure. This is another Stephen King book. It's called Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. And it is a novella. I mean, it's a 4-hour audiobook. And since It that I'm reading right now is a 45-hour audiobook, this is practically a short story to Stephen King. So that one will be after The Shining. I went ahead and put it up here on the new Kanban board just because once I move The Shining down, I'm not going to be using this board, this first board. And so I want to have everything on this new board. So that's where we are. That's what's going on this week. I will take you along with me when we go to the Spanish market in San Antonio. And I'm not sure what else we're doing downtown on Monday, but I will take you along. I'm going to read some more of It and Sojourn today and start See How Small. And we'll just see how far we get in the next 3 days. I know I'm going to be able to read a lot on audio going to Arkansas and back from Arkansas because it's like a 10 to 11 hour drive, and I'm only going to be driving half of that. So I'll be able to get in some audio time, and also I should be able to get in some ebook time when I'm not driving. So that's what's happening this time, though, and getting us up to getting ready to leave. So I'm going to get started, and I will update probably tomorrow. It's Sunday afternoon right now when I'm kicking us off, so I'm not going to really report today. I will probably report in the morning and see how far I got today. Good morning. It's Tuesday morning. I finished a book last night, so we're going to talk about a few things. First of all, we're going to update my candy board. Let me turn the fan off. Okay, so we're updating the candy board, and I finished the, what was it called? What did I finish? Sojourn. I finished Sojourn, and I had it for what? I had it for prompt number 16, Haunted House. Read a book that is set in a creepy or scary location. This had multiple locations that were creepy and scary. And it is right here on this square. So now I have these three and I have those three across there. Also, I'm going to finally mark off the borrowers right here because I watched the movie. There's multiple movies about this, and apparently the movies span many of the books and not just the first book. So when I was looking at the movie at first, it said that there was a brother, and I was like, hold on, there was not another child. They just had the daughter. So anyway, apparently that happens later in the books. Spoiler alert. So it was really cute. It had John Goodman in it, and yeah, that was cute. Okay. Now let's look at the Kanban board because I have officially finished the first Kanban board. So you will notice, if you're fast at counting, that I only have 7 books at the bottom. No, 8 books at the bottom. I'm not fast at counting, apparently. I only have 8 books at the bottom, not 10, like there should be when I was finished with the whole thing. And also, if you're astute or pay attention to things, you know that those are the 2 Stephen King books that are not at the bottom. So, are not at the bottom of that one. So what I've done is I've moved it over here into the currently reading, working on section, and I've moved The Shining up to the top. This is also a Stephen King book, but I'm planning on doing both of these together, not at the same time, but in one video because this one is really short. So both of them together are still half as long as it. So anyway, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish Full Moon, and I'm going to finish See How Small before I close out this vlog. So let's talk about them for a second. First, let's talk about Sojourn, which I finished reading last night. Let me scooch so I can put it up here. This is the 3rd book in the Dark Elf trilogy, which is written by R.A. Salvatore, and it is starring Dresden. There's so many different ways to say it. But he's a dark elf. And he has a cat named Guinevere. It's spelled so bizarrely, so I never know how to spell it, but that's how the guy says it on the audio version. So I have both the audio and physical copy of it here. I haven't been using the physical copy as much just because I've been reading it as I was driving and doing things. This book was so good, just like the others. I feel like, though, that what I learned through his experiences in life is to never trust that just because we meet a character and we fall in love with them, that he's not going to die or leave. So there is this guy, the writer, Salvatore, has 0 problems with killing off people that we love. And poor Dres seems to spend his whole life just trying to find companionship and trying to find acceptance. And as soon as he does, then the person gets killed, or he has to leave them, or something else bad happens. We have to take a dog break. Okay, dogs are inside. It is rainy today, so it is not... The dogs are always a little bit wet when they come back in from outside. Anyway, Dresden is just constantly disappointed in the way people accept him or in the way people leave him after they've become close. It's just so sad to me. And I just want him to be happy and to find a group of friends that love him and will let him hang out with them forever. That's all I want. That's all he wants. And it doesn't seem to work that way. Anyway, I am putting this as one of my old authors now, and so it will show up in my rotation on Storygraph when I'm picking random books to read for prompts and stuff. So that's where he will be from now on, and I'll be happy when I get to see him again. Now, I am currently reading, like I said, See How Small is on the Kindle. That's my e-reader, and this was an NPR book for a dark... I don't remember exactly the name of the section in the NPR concierge, but it's something about dark reads. And it is. When I started, I thought, I don't know that I'm going to like this book. Sometimes there's not quotation marks around dialogue. And the first chapter, the chapters are very short, which is great, but it has 60 chapters in it. But the very first chapter, I thought, I don't even know what's happening. And it kind of made it sound like there's an event. So there is an event that happens that predominantly so far, I'm on chapter 23, 24-ish. So for the first third of the book at least, everything is revolving around this event that has happened. And when I read the first chapter, I thought, oh, this is going to be hard for me to get through. And the next thing I knew, I was on chapter 10 and I did not want to put it down. So it switches. Almost every chapter is a different person's point of view. And we still get those weird chapters where we don't know the narrator or point of view of the chapter, and they say you, like they're talking to me. Like they'll say, you came at this point and you did this. And I'm like, I don't understand. So there are still a couple of those chapters that I'm like, what? But overall, oh my gosh, it's so good. And it's telling the story. And like I said, in these 20-something chapters, we've already gone 5 years from the event that starts at the very beginning. So it's so good. In the middle of all this, it's also the mystery of the event and like who did it and why did they do it and all that kind of stuff. And so I really like it a lot more than I thought I would. And so I'm definitely finishing that before I leave on Thursday morning. So the other book is Jim Butcher's Full Moon. This is book 2 in the Dresden Files. And the first book I spent a lot of time going, I don't really know what's going on. And I think it's because he was introducing us to the magic system and like the world where he is a magician and a wizard, and what that looks like and all of that stuff. And so this book, based on the cover and the title, I kind of thought it was going to be about werewolves. And I'm probably, 10% of the way into it right now, maybe a little more than that. Let's see, 18% of the way in, and it does seem like it's going to be about werewolves. But Dresden doesn't know a lot about the werewolves either. So as he's learning about them, we're learning about them. And that's always really cool. I think that's a good way to do info dumps and things that you need the audience to know. I think that's a good way to do them. So and I'm continuing it, which I'm not talking about in this series. I should, though, have my Crocheting with King first video should be up soon. Probably at the beginning of next week, because I'm almost finished with it. Okay, there's Django, and he needs some breakfast, and so does, I hear her, but I don't see her. So does Skeeter. So I'm going to go and feed them, and I'm going to feed myself, and I'm going to listen to Full Moon while I do that. And then I'll get to work for the day. So I will check in later with wherever I am in these books. I did think about this being a problem before I started doing my new Kanban board things, but I thought, future Amanda can figure that out. I have a sick dog. So I thought, future Amanda can figure that out, and now I'm here, and I have to figure it out. If you've watched my channel for very long, you know that I use this notebook, this bullet journal, as my reading journal. And I take all the books that I've read and I print out the covers and I put them in this book. Now, let me just grab a cover from the Kanban board. Do we see the difference in size right here? So this is my new problem, is I don't want to have to print these 2 times. And I don't want to print them this small to go on the Kanban board because I feel like you wouldn't be able to see them very well. So I like the size that they are for the Kanban board. But now I'm over here on my latest page, way over here. And I have some of these books on my Kanban board, and some of them are not on my Kanban board. So I have a couple of options. Number one, do I print all of the ones that are not on the Kanban board and print them small to add to this page, because that's what goes over here. And then I'm going to have a mixture of like small and big on this page. So what I was thinking about doing, because what I want to do is after I finish the Kanban board, because this one is finished. So when I finish it, I want to be able to take all of these off and immediately add them to this book. However, I don't know. I can get 30 of those smaller covers on these 2 pages. I don't know how many of these I'm going to get on there, and I didn't want to use, like, I want to be able to use this book next year as well. And I have enough pages to be able to do it. It's just washed out. It's just a white page anyway. But if I do it like this, I for sure have enough pages to do it next year. If I have to start using multiple pages to put the titles on there, I don't know how that's going to look. So I don't really know what to do. So it's everything under this line that I have printed in the larger thing. And everything above this line I don't have printed at all, because usually I wait till I'm done with all the whole page and then I print them all small and I put them in my book. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. And 3 minutes was too long for me to talk to you about that. So I'm going to think about that today, and of course I will take any suggestions that you have, but I'm going to have my own ideas by the time I finish this vlog. I would still love to hear your suggestions, because maybe that's what I can do going forward if you have a better idea. Good morning. It is Wednesday, and so I just wanted to go over my Kanban board and a couple of other things that I want to get done today before I close out this vlog. So I finished See How Small, and I moved it down here, and I went ahead and moved Traveling Shoes down here, but I don't think I'm actually going to start reading that probably until tomorrow in the car when I'm not driving. So this will be the kickoff of the next vlog. Full moon. I am this close to being done. I think I have 3 chapters left. I'm on chapter 42, and I think there's 44, 45. So I'm almost done with Full Moon. And then it's going to be The Only Good Indians. I'm so excited. I was going to wait and start it in the car because it is a 9-hour audiobook, and we have a 9-hour drive, and I thought I can just read it the whole time we're in the car tomorrow. However, sometimes my husband wants to listen to things with me and stuff like that. So I'm going to end up starting it tonight, but I'm not going to talk about it on this vlog. It'll be in the next one. So I'm almost finished with Full Moon, and I'll come back and do a discussion about that. I'm almost finished with it as well. Here is my bookmark. I have 110 pages left in this book. So I'm going to make some time to crochet this afternoon so I can finish that. So that video should be up sometime next week, maybe. It'll be soon. But anyway, that'll be coming up. And then I'll be able to bring the shining down, because I'm taking my crochet stuff with me to go get my kids. And so I'll be able to keep going. Anyway, this is the current state of the Kanban board. And I got work to do today, of course. But this afternoon is for packing and finishing books. So I'm going to finish them, and I'm so excited that I'm going to finish both of them by the time I close out this vlog. Even though I'm not talking about it, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so I had to think about See How Small before I wanted to come back and do an actual review of it. Let me scoot over. I'm going to pull it up on my Kindle as well, just because at the end of the book, first of all, it's a really short book, like 200 pages, barely 200 pages. But at the end, there is, I'm sure they call it like praise for the novel or whatever, but I just want to read a couple of these. First of all, it has a questions and answers section. He put a playlist in the back. I know we talk about that on a couple of Discords. Somebody asked if that was just a new thing that was happening, and apparently it is a new thing that's happening. So anyway, I just wanted to read a couple of things. Okay, so first of all, his name is Scott Blackwood, and it says, Blackwood resided in Austin, Texas for many years and now lives in Chicago. And this book takes place in Austin, Texas and Chicago. So I thought that was funny. Okay, so we have... I'm just going to read, when I finished reading this book, I have a dog. When I was 2 pages from finishing this book, I thought, how can I be so close to being done? Because nothing has been resolved. So I got to the end and nothing was resolved. Here is, I guess this one is really one of my favorite descriptions of it, and it's from Kim Hubbard from People magazine, and it says, mesmerizing. In lyrical, often dreamlike prose, Blackwood illuminates the nature of grief and the connections among the living and the dead. And the more I thought about it, okay, Django says hi because he won't stop whining, and I don't know what his problem is. I think it's because I gave him a couple of pieces of turkey because the little bitty dog has to take medication right now. She has allergies. That's what that is. She's allergic to Texas. So anyway, I'm sorry, she's got a weird cough. This must be what filming with toddlers is like. So there is an event at the very beginning of this book. It's not giving anything away, I don't think, to say that some teenagers die. If you can hear her coughing, I promise that she's fine. We took her to the vet yesterday. He said she has allergies, and he gave her 2 different kinds of medication. So, anyway, she's fine. And today she's feeling really good, so she's up and playing and running around and all kinds of stuff, which makes her cough more, just like any child that is sick. Anyway, this book, I enjoyed it. I really liked reading it at first. Like I said, there is an event. It happens at the beginning. It's a murder, and you learn about it at the very, very first page. But then, through the rest of the book, they explore more what it is, what happened, and I was hoping that we would just go through and find out what happened. But this is not about what happened. This is about the effect that it had on all the people around and all the people that were touched by it. And so there are a lot of different people affected, not just the people who knew the kids that were killed, but 2 and 3 steps away from them. And we follow different people's points of views through the whole thing. And like I said, it's a small book for such a large POV, and I thought that would make it hard for me to keep up with who was who and who was talking, but it did not. Like, even all the way through the end, they said somebody's name, and I knew exactly who that was and where they had been. Now, I did read it in 2-3 days, I think. But again, it's only 200 pages, so it's not that long. And in those 200 pages, there are 60 chapters. So it's so easy to just stop at a chapter. Like, I sat down yesterday and I was like, okay, I'm going to read 5 chapters and then I'll get up and do something else. And they just flew by. And then I wanted to sit down and read some more because it just kept you going, because you were like, well, I want to know what's happening with the investigation, and also I want to know how the moms of the girls are doing, and so anyway, it was just super interesting to follow along with that. This is from a place called Shelf Awareness, which I'm guessing is a book review place. What a cute name for a book review channel or a book review blog. Anyway, Scott Blackwood so successfully weaves together disparate strands that See How Small turns into a rich tapestry of human failing and hopeful striving. It was just so good. And there's so many, although we do have these, somebody from the Columbus Dispatch wrote, thought-provoking. So I told you that this book takes place in Austin, Texas, predominantly. And Scott Blackwood said that the inspiration from this story came from a real-life murder of four teenage girls in Austin. He said that it has haunted him for 20 years. He's thought about these girls, and that it is still an unsolved case. And so he kind of just wanted to explore. I'm reading this right here. He said, their brutal and seemingly random murder challenges our basic ideas of justice, responsibility, grief, love, and even the shape of the stories we tell to make sense of it. He also said that when they lived in Chicago, his wife had to call him and say that their daughter was missing from school. She was 6 years old, and when she got there to pick her up, she was gone. And so he just said that frantic need to get there and find his daughter safe is just what added another layer onto his writing about this situation. Anyway, they found his daughter. She had decided that she could go on a play date, as 6-year-olds do, and she had somehow gotten out of the school without anybody knowing and walked home with her friend. And so she was at her friend's house, and the friend's parents thought everything was fine. And so, anyway, his daughter was fine. But that is part of what inspired him with the story. So, I'm going to go handle these dog toddlers that I have. And I will check in later when I finish Full Moon. Well, it's still Wednesday. Skeeter, come here. Skeeter can't stop barking at the squirrels outside. Okay, so hopefully she'll go bark outside and not in this room where we are. Here's what I want to do. So this is my board that you saw when I checked in last time. And I've finished Full Moon. So normally I only move these on Instagram, on my Instagram story. However, in the morning I will be leaving and driving to Arkansas, and I don't know if I'm going to take this yet. I haven't decided. I really want to, but I don't know that it'll make it back here and survive the whole weekend. So anyway, I also have some bad news. So I told you this morning that my next book was The Only Good Indians. It is not available on my Libby app at the library. I have to put it on hold. And the hold says 3 weeks. So I did a thing. First of all, I switched to this book. I Wish You All the Best. This is now the book that I'm listening to on audio. It was just supposed to be after The Only Good Indians. So now it's here now. My problem is that it says The Only Good Indians is not going to be ready for 3 weeks. This I Wish You All the Best book is probably going to take me just a couple of days to finish reading. So my plan then is, if The Only Good Indians is ready at that point, I will check it out from my library. If it's not ready, I'm probably just going to buy it on Audible. I'm going to check Scribd, and I'm going to check other places to see if I can find it. And then I'll just keep going. So I do think that I'm going to try to take this with me. There may be a place in the front of my car that I can stick it where it will stay protected enough that I could get there and back with it. So that's my plan for right now. But let's talk about Full Moon. This book was really good. I've seen some people doing reviews and talking about how they didn't really like this book, or they quit the series after this book or whatever. And if we're talking about Dresden, the character of Dresden, he's not fantastic to me. He is definitely old-fashioned in his thinking, we will say. I'm just hoping that as the books go along, he gets a different opinion of women. So right now he's dating this journalist, and I don't know, I didn't think they were going to make it through this book, but they made it through this book. But he works a lot with one of the detectives for the special crimes unit. That's probably not what it's called. I forgot what it's called. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And he's working with her, and I think he likes her. And so my prediction is that eventually he's going to end up with the detective lady, but hopefully she will convince him that women are not these weak little things that need to be protected all the time, since that's what he said about women in this book. What else about this book without giving away spoilers? So again, he finds himself in the middle of some mess. And this one, what I really liked about this one is because it had to do with werewolves and the moon, the full moon specifically, he was on a time crunch. What he had to solve it in a short amount of time. And I liked that because part of me was dude needs to go home and rest. He was just getting beaten up and hurt and everything. And I'm he needs to be able to go rest. And he couldn't, because he had a deadline to meet. Anyway, it was also super gory. A lot of people died. A lot of people died in this book. And we do, at the end, he is kind of thinking I think there might be somebody after me, a big bad guy. So eventually, I think that big bad guy we're going to find out about. But I have books 2 through 9 here at my house. I threw that one. It's no big deal. So I'm just going to move on to book 3. I did decide to not do them one a month anymore. So I've just added the next book to my want to read list, and I will eventually get there to it and be able to read that one. So that's how I'm doing it. I'm not putting the pressure on myself that I have to read one Dresden book a month. There might be some kind of challenge that comes up this year where I think I'll just read 3 Dresden books this month or something like that. I don't have an update on it because I haven't done any crocheting. Not that I'm really going to update you on that. And I haven't started traveling shoes yet. I did start listening to I Wish You All the Best a little whenever I was on my way home a few minutes ago. So that one, I'll definitely finish it tomorrow, but I'm not really going to talk about it on this vlog. I'll talk about it more on the vlog starting tomorrow. So I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else that I'm going to read or talk about on this vlog today. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out and get everything edited as much as I can and ready to go up tomorrow. So hopefully, this is Wednesday, the 13th. Hopefully this video will be up tomorrow. You'll know whether or not I made my goal of finishing it tonight and getting it ready to go tomorrow. So I'll see you in my next video.